Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We're back.
We're back. We were kind of chatting a little bit, just kind of it wasn't really any information to share or not share, but it reminded me that recently, because I've been waking up in the middle of the night. I'll wake up around 2, 3 o'clock, whatever, and I might be up for a couple hours, and I'm okay with that. Before I used to be bothered by that, but it's my opportunity for my quietness. It's my opportunity for another meditation. It's my opportunity for so many different things. And the other night, I was laying in there and then I was like hearing I wrote on the board, I have such abundance. I have such abundance that I can do this, I can do that, and I can do that. And it's like it was such a flow of things. And I'm like feeling like I gotta go write this down. And I'm like, it's hard to get out of bed. It's cold outside. So it's like, and my bed's all nice and comfy cozy. So I didn't want to get out of bed. And all of a sudden my body got really hot. And I was like, okay, I'm getting out of bed. So I came in the office and I sat and wrote, and then I wrote stuff on the board and stuff like that. But it was like, it was so much fun. Like I have so much abundance that I can do whatever I want. I can sit out and just do my garden. I can, whatever it was. And it just felt good to be in that space of that creativity. So being in the flow of things, typically I would have ignored that and not wrote it down. I wouldn't have wrote it down, and I would have hoped that I would have listened to it and remembered it. And so that night, I really milked it. I really stayed in that space and kept constantly building and stuff like that. Cause that's where our creativity comes from. It comes from right now. It comes from me imagining the things, not the experiences that I've already had. Cause I've already had that experience. Why would I want to create the same experience? I'm in a different space now. And
Yeah.
it's just having fun with all that.
Well, as one of Wayne Dyer's things is I don't remember his word, don't go back to sleep. Um, that's along the lines, like, I don't know, I'm not going to quote him exactly, but along the lines of don't go back to sleep because in those early hours is when the messages are coming because there is so much stillness and quiet that's when it's like that's when the veil between us and spirit or us and the universe, or us and God is thinner because there is so much peace and quiet at that time, that the information is easily accessible. And then it's like, okay, you got the short straw. It's your turn to get up and receive this information type of thing, right? So
But it was such a blessing. It was such a blessing to receive that. The flow was so good and it felt so great. And it's not a space that I was common to me to be in that, just even in the energy of it, how it felt, and to be like on a rampage, like Esther Hicks would talk about. So it's just was being in that space, and it was so uplifting, and it felt so good. And so if I wanted to, it's just stopping to feel that. It's just stopping to recognize I can feel that. We kind of touched on the feeling of things last time, how we can pick up on people's energy so easily. And I've noticed that I can do that with anybody. I can do it with a tarantula. I can do it with anything, and so can everybody else. It's a matter of being quiet enough to be able to tune in to that, to be able, and it's tuning in is focused. I'm just focused in on it. And so now with that being, I started asking myself, well, how come I don't do that with God? How come I don't do that with the creator of all that is? Why do I think that it has to go through somebody else, or there has to be a third party between me and creator? It doesn't have to be, but it's like, well, I'm not gonna go talk to dad, but I'll go talk to my aunt, or I'll go talk to my mom or whatever. But it's like I'm gonna go directly to father, or I'm gonna go directly to creator. And so it's learning, for me, it's learning a whole different perspective on things, and it's knowing that I deserve to have those conversations, and I'm safe to be in that space, and not cutting myself off from something anymore that I've been doing my whole life because I thought I knew better. I don't know better because somebody else thought they knew better when that's how they taught me. It's just a different experience.
yeah. And I was thinking that when I said the messages come that early because the it's so quiet and the veil is thinner, that it's not just a person receiving that information. It could be hundreds or thousands or millions of people receiving that information. It's who's going to take the time to receive it and process it and share it or listen to it. Just receive it and listen to it and implement it, because it's this information that's helping guide us in this life journey, um, Well, only certain people are going to take it and receive it and implement it. So it's like, I hear this quite often in the spiritual teaching world, that, information is given to you, but it's also being given to somebody around on the other side of the world, because I could deliver it in a space or teach or share the information from the perspective of living in this country, but I don't speak the language or relate to somebody who lives in another country. And so somebody in that country is going to be receiving the same information probably at the same time. And then they could take it and do with it and teach it and share it um, to people that they can relate to in a way that they can understand it. But at the same time, I'm not the only one in this country receiving the information. There's multiple people receiving it, but who's going to take it? It's like who's going to take the baton and keep running? Who's going to take that information and share it? So um, I just find that, we think we're the chosen one and we're the one that got it first. Not necessarily. If other people are tapped into it, they're going to receive it also.
100%. Through their filtration system, through their understanding, through their terminologies, then it reaches out to people that are around them in the way that it could be sent out. So I like to be in that receiving mode. So that's why I get into that. I like that space. It's quiet. There's no distractions. You're not on your devices, looking at apps or doing any of that kind of stuff. That's not your typical thing. And that's an easy route to go. Back in the day, I probably would have gotten up and gone and watched some TV or whatever because I couldn't sleep or whatever. I don't do that anymore. I was reading something this morning and it was talking about if your vibe's low, don't go pick up your devices. Because then you're only going to, what you talked about, we're only going to get more of what we're putting out, basically, in so many words. But we're going to get more of what we're putting out, or where our mindset is at currently.
Yeah, you're going to attract what you're resonating with, and then it's just going to be a validation of how you're feeling right now, and then you just keep compounding the sensation, and then now you're stuck in it unless you do something different.
Yeah. And so we're just learning how to do something different before it ever gets to that point. It's just being in a different space prior to. And that was, for me, that's been a learning process for sure. It wasn't something that just happened overnight because I had so much old programming. So I had to reprogram in a lot of ways and still am reprogramming.
Yeah. So it's similar to, like you said, you used to go watch TV. It'd be the same as somebody, well, I'm feeling stressed, I need a cigarette. I'm feeling stressed, I need a drink of alcohol. I'm feeling stressed, I need something else outside of me to take care of the way I'm feeling. Whereas instead of changing that programming of reaching for a drink or a cigarette or some other um, what do you call it?
Vice.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That, what if I just sat with this and notice, well, why do I feel like I need that? Why am I feeling, start asking the question, why am I feeling stressed? Why do I feel like that's the answer? That external source, why do I feel that's the answer? Um, what if I sat here with it and just felt the way I felt? What if I just feel the stress? And then start asking, am I really stressed, or am I just perceiving this in a way that's contributing to me thinking I'm stressed, right? So sitting with yourself is so interesting. You find out so much about yourself, and then when you figure it out, well, I'm still figuring it out, but I know a lot more about myself now than I used to. But when I know more about myself, then I have more of an understanding about other people. So I have more ease and grace for them because they don't know themselves. And they're just doing what they think they need to do for themselves to cope with life. And they're not in a space to do anything different. And one of those things, like what Bev did, is Like, you know what? I got up and I just started writing, and I learned a lot. If she hadn't done that, if she would have got up and went and watched TV, she would have never got that information or um wisdom, if you will, to help her to stay on track with doing different things.
Yeah, because it was a benefit for me. It was a benefit for me in my thought processes. It really helped me out, helped me to see things from a different perspective and then feel things from a different perspective. So I've had experience in the last couple of weeks where the vices cannot, I cannot have the vices. I cannot have the sugar. I cannot have the things because the body responds not good with it. And that was the way things have been, I would say, changed in my life because I no longer have that as a way of it, an escape. So that I was finding myself escaping things, even using the vices, but even going on to apps and stuff like that, they weren't bringing the satisfaction that I would look for because I was looking for something outside of myself, just as you had said. I had that experience and now I'm in that space where, okay, well, I don't need those things anyways. I never needed them anyways. The only thing I need is all within inside of me. That's it. But I didn't realize that, and I wouldn't have realized that if I still had those escapes, because I had escapes. I had escape plans. There's an emergency switch right there. Just get on it real quick. And it's like I don't now it's not that way, but it is exactly what you said, is sitting and feeling those things. And it reminds me of us being the little kids. We weren't allowed to ask questions. I wasn't allowed to ask. Kids ask too much questions. You're asking too many questions, and so a lot of times I shut that down, and it's like crazy. I could have been asking inside my head all the time instead of asking outside of me. But we had learned outside of it. We had learned to rely on something outside of us. We had learned to our parents that were telling us we need to do this so we don't get hurt. Sometimes the parents weren't around, so you got hurt because we weren't trusting in what was inside of us, our own intuition, our own guidance, our own feels, and then became afraid of the feels because the people that were raising us, that were around us, were afraid of their own feelings. And so I've learned so much. I was about to say we've learned so much. I know you have learned so much too, but there's been a lot of growth from all that. And it's just recognizing I don't have to operate from that kid anymore, which is kind of unfolded in such a way because there was a time you would talk about this stuff and I would understand it from the level that I could understand it. And now I understand it so differently now than I ever could have possibly understood it then. And it makes it's much a deeper sense inside of me. And I am asking a lot of those questions, but then you ask some more questions and it's like that helps. We need to hear people saying those kind of things and talking about it out loud because it helps us that didn't have that opportunity to be able to express ourselves and be able to ask questions, to be able to learn how to start opening up and asking questions. And now when I ask questions, I'll ask questions outside of me and from someone else. Before I would never have asked a question. What do you mean? What is that about? Before I was thought, well, I felt that I had to know everything. You have to know these things. And there was no way in hell that I could know all those things. It's not possible. Just like you said in the last recording, I didn't go to school to be a doctor. So how could I teach people that way? I didn't go to school to be a veterinarian. So how could I be that way? I don't have that knowledge that they have, but I have my own knowledge. And I have my own connection with inside of me that brings forth whatever I need in the moment. So it's just really, it's back to being reliant upon self, but it's not reliant upon self because it's relying on there's so much something bigger there than it is just the self. It's so much bigger than the ego. We're so much more than all those things. And then when we think in all those, in those ways from the ego, it's very limited. The solutions are limited.
Yeah, I love the solutions when they're coming to me because I've allowed myself to be in that space of, instead of focusing so much on the problem, what is the solution? Well, if I think there's a problem, why am I perceiving it as a problem? Must first of all, right, start asking those questions, and then, okay, well, what's a solution? Because I'm not going to get anywhere with just focusing on the problem. But this also comes to, well, get a pen and paper and start writing. Because
Yeah.
when you start writing, information comes, because you're right here, right now, in this moment, asking for a solution. And when I say ask, I'm asking universe, God, angels, spirit, help me with a solution. But I have to be open to that solution. I have to be open to receiving solutions to begin with. And if I'm too far into the problem, then I'm not going to receive a solution. And even if a solution came, I would deny it because I'm still focused on the problem. I can't receive the solution. So we just keep coming back to it, just being right now, be here right now. And being focused on the problem is being stuck in my head.
I mean, it's being stuck in your head, like you're operating from the old programming, right?
Yeah. Which it served its purpose at the time.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel good. And we know that. The way we were before didn't feel good. And being problem focused, I'm being victim focused. And saying there's no hope for me. There's no hope for me because I can't get it right. I'm not good enough. This keeps happening. Nothing goes right. How do I get myself out of this? Well, I'm still focused on what's wrong. When really, all of it, in a sense, and this may not resonate with some people right now, it wouldn't have resonated with me if I had heard this 20 or 30 years ago. But in a sense, all of it is relevant. All of it. Because I wouldn't know any different unless I went through all this crap stuff and the healing, but learning to be in the present moment with myself and learn about myself and grow in myself and listen. Like if I hadn't done all of those things, of course, we wouldn't be having, Bev would not be having this conversation with me. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't be part of this conversation.
Me neither.
But that power is within you. There's nobody, this is the most difficult thing people don't understand. And it took me a long time to grasp it too. Nobody can do it for you. You have to take the steps. You have to take the initiative. Bev has to be the one to get up out of bed, to grab a pen and paper and start writing whatever's coming to her. That's on her. Nobody's going to do it for her. And the benefits that she got from doing it goes above and beyond her just staying comfy in her bed. She got out of the box. She's like, no, I need to get up. I'm going to go do this. She had to do that. It wasn't her partner laying in bed saying, honey, you need to go write that stuff down that you're thinking about, because he didn't know. He didn't know what she's doing. So it's having the strength within yourself to make the decisions, the choices, it's just time to do something different.
100%. And we get caught up in the princess story, right? That someone's going to come save us, and that keeps us on a hamster wheel, because nobody's going to come save you. We have to be the one to save ourselves. And when you were saying that, my partner Freeman's not going to be like, oh, I'll go write that down for you. Yeah, tell me what it was. I'll write it down for you, because things get lost in translation.
Yeah.
So I was the conduit at that moment for the information that I needed for me at that moment. That's what it was for. And we share the information, and if someone needs it, or if someone wants to practice that, or maybe they take a spin off on it and figure out how to do something a little bit differently, it's perfect. Everything is exactly as it's supposed to be. Even as you were saying all this stuff that we've experienced, I had to experience all that stuff. That's how I decided what feels good and what doesn't feel good. I think I've said this before. My newest grandson, Brian, the mom tells him, don't touch that, it's hot. Well, he walks right over and touches it because because it's his experience. He's not going to take the word of somebody else. He's going to have the experience. So now that he knows, okay, that's what she's talking about. Okay, I'll see how I manage things in the future. Still might touch something that's hot. It's okay.
And we keep doing it throughout our life.
It's true.
We got to learn.
True. And it's just the feeling part. The feeling part is such a big deal to me. It's so important. And I thought before, oh, great, I can feel things. Who cares? Feeling things is so important. I feel like I can recognize if one of my animals are hurting. I can tune into them and feel those kind of things, and then kind of figure out, okay, spirit, what needs to be done? Like how what's the solution, right? Because now I'm open for solutions. I'm not staring at the problem. So it's useful in all aspects of our lives. It's not just useful in our conversation. And it's a matter of practicing it and just doing it.
And no matter how much you think you're going to get away from yourself, you're not.
I've tried. Son of a bitch. Every time I go running off someplace, and next thing you know, there she is again. It's
There
like,
she
what the
is.
hell? That's right.
Yeah, you take you with you wherever you go. So, and if you think the cigarette's going to be the solution, no. As soon as you're done, through the entire process of smoking a cigarette, it's still all there. You and all the stuff, all the life experiences are still there. If you think that the alcohol is going to um, be the solution, no, because when you sober up, it's all still there. Like
Yeah.
nothing changes. This is what they say, right? Nothing changes till you change. You can't get away from it.
And it feels so daunting to go that process, like as you're describing it, it feels so daunting. But when I actually got up and wrote, I felt great. I felt exhilarated. I felt uplifted. And when I went back to bed, I went back to sleep. It
Yeah.
was not a big deal. Otherwise, I would have still probably been playing with the story in my head, or playing with the new words I found and creating and stuff like that. But I went right fast back to sleep, no problem.
Yeah, you would have laid there and then sift through the information that you were receiving and processing information. Like you wouldn't have gone to sleep anyway. You would
Yeah.
have just and then probably been more tired when you got up.
Yeah. Or the process that I was doing is like, okay, spirit, do I really need to get out of bed right now and go write this down? Is this really that? Should I right now? Like I'm asking questions when I've already. It's like they're like, listen, we just gave you some information. You can do what you want with it.
Right.
And I took the incentive to get up out of bed and go actually follow through on it, and it felt good. It felt great.
Yeah. Good. Yep. And the information comes, but you got to be you have to have less happening in your head than what you're used to. That is not easy. That is not.
Well,
So my
I've spent my whole life in that position.
yeah.
I really do. I feel like I've spent all my life in that position for such a long time. And now I'm like stepping away from it because it's not necessary anymore. It kept me safe for 50 something years. I don't need it anymore to keep me safe because I am safe.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I have calmer weather now. And so when somebody else is in their storm, in their chaos, and they got a tornado happening, I'm just like, oh no, 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 this is yours.
Yeah.
You don't need to suck me into it.
Yeah.
This is the way you feel that you need to operate from this type of space. This is your programming. This is what you're used to. And I'm no longer used to that. So you go do you go have your chaos. And I'm going to stay over here on the sidelines and watch you do it because you're not ready to listen, for one. You're not ready to do anything different. You're not ready to be in the now and be with yourself and sift through these emotions that you're carrying. You're just not ready to do any of that. And so your mode of operation is chaos. Well, you go do you, boo, because I'm just going to hang out over here and hope that you get out of this experience, which you need to for your own growth.
Yeah.
And you're a reminder for me of how much I enjoy my calm. So
That's
thank you for
true.
showing up and reminding me that I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because my MO used to be chaos. My MO was drama. My MO was victimization. And now that I'm not in that space, it shows up every once in a while. But now I'm not in that frequent space and I'm sitting back and I'm watching other people do it. You go because you are excellent at it and I no longer am. So I'm just gonna sit back and You remind me of what I'm no longer doing.
Yep. I like it.
So I'm
And
okay.
that goes, yeah, you're okay. Sorry. It just reminds me of like, it's asking like, again, it's just such a simple thing, but asking, why is it showing up for me? Why is it showing up in my experience? Asking those questions. Cause that was something that you would prompt me to. And it's like, not always could I get there from there, but I can now. And it took practice, but I just stayed with it. You planted a seed a long time ago. And it's like it's finally come to fruition where I use that all the time. Like I'm asking, why is it showing up for me? And then that's so beneficial for the people that are willing to listen to you when they're going through their experiences and you talk to them and you're letting them know, instead of, well, it just happened recently. And it's like I said, well, instead of coming from perhaps a victim standpoint, recognizing, why is it showing up for you, not why is this happening to me? Because it empowers you. It disempowers the problem, and it empowers us. So that's been something frequently. And I even heard someone that I've followed for a while now, and she said that she had gone to Peru and she had had this situation. And she said that at first she was like, you know, like totally caught her off guard by these people that she thought were her friends. And it turned out not to be so. And she, instead of being in the victim place, she stopped and felt all the things, not felt it from the victim standpoint, but just felt the actual energy of what she was feeling. And then she's moved through it so quickly because we need to feel things, and we've just learned not to feel things because it was scary, because those feelings could be out of control, but it doesn't last that long, and it can only be out of control if you're feeding it with the mind.
Yep.
I heard a process recently, and didn't send it to you, but I probably will. But it was actually a skit. The guy was like doing a song, and it was Ren and Stimpy, and what it was, like, this guy was having this conversation. So it's like we get these downloads of all this information to go want to go do these things, and all of a sudden our mind starts getting activated and says, you can't do that, you can't do that. And it's like, how many times did I stop and listen to that voice and then not do it because I didn't think I could, because I let myself talk myself out of it. I let my mind talk myself out of information that was valuable, that was flowing to me, just like I could have let my mind talk myself out of getting up and writing down that information that for me was valuable for me.
Yep.
So crazy. And it's so crazy when we get into these spaces, how it shows up for you to walk through the process. And then when you're helping someone else through the process, you recognize how it benefited you when you went through the same situations.
Yeah. We are interesting creatures for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And the best part though is to be interested in your creature, be interested in yourself, be interested in why you do the things you do, how you do the things you do, the emotions you feel when things happen. Why am I feeling this way about this experience that doesn't even affect me? I'm not even involved in it, but it's affecting me. Sit with that,
Mhm.
because it's a reminder of something you did experience and you just haven't done your healing. You may not have done your healing around it yet. And so every experience gives us an opportunity for self-reflection, whether you're involved in the situation or you're an observer of the situation. There is something for you to reflect on, for your own inner strength and growth and learning. And it's going to be what you decide it's going to be. And I
Just
say
true.
these things in a sense of, am I walking around with every person I see and every conversation I have that, oh, I'm going to learn something? No, I don't think that, but I am very observant as to how am I feeling? How is this person talking? What are they saying to me? What am I saying to them back? Because it might be something that I'm saying out loud to them that I need to hear for myself, but it's coming from me. And that happens a lot when we're having these conversations for the tea time. It's like, oh yeah, I needed to hear that. I need to be reminded of that. But if I'm not present with Bev when we're having the conversation, I would not hear the words that would click to be go, oh yeah, that needs my attention. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, I just had that and didn't do anything with it. And now I'm being reminded that I need to do something with it because it's going to show up again. And it's going to keep showing up until I do some work around it. So all of it's okay. Wherever you are in life with yourself, it's okay. It's a process. None of us are perfect. None of us are getting it right. We can just keep doing better. That's my goal. Just keep doing better. And I am not perfect at that. I falter on many occasions and I learn from it and I recognize it sooner than I did before. And I don't stay in it like I used to. And so it's just a matter of where you're at with yourself. And if you want something to be different, you have a habit, you're overweight, your finances aren't great, your relationships aren't great, whatever it is, then do something to make a change. And just a little step in one direction is the best thing you can do.
And it's another form of giving and receiving, really, because that's what I'm processing. Instead of giving information all the time, allowing yourself to receive the information that's coming in.
Well, when
So
you
it's
receive it, is you got to implement it though. There's a second step. You have
true.
to receive it and I hear it. What am I going to do with it though? Am I going to
Yeah.
just gloss over it and say, oh yeah, I know. Oh yeah. Yeah, I probably should do that. I've done that many a times too in my life. So it doesn't
Me
end
too.
well.
No, it doesn't. It keeps you on the same cycle.
Yep. So friends, if you want something to change, you got to change it. And it starts with you. It's not changing others, it's changing you. So just take something, whatever you're learning. If you learn something from this video, the next step is implement. Start somewhere. Take a step in a different direction. You have to get that momentum going for you because nobody else is going to do it. Like Bev said, nobody is going to come rescue you. Nobody is going to come solve your problems. Nobody's going to make the changes necessary for you to feel better. It's your job to do it and it's your responsibility. So you got to start somewhere. So take maybe the easiest or simplest thing that you can think of right now. If you heard it in this video or read it in a book or heard it from a different influencer, is what could I start right now? Could I start right now and start doing it? Any
And it's
final
another way
words?
oh, sorry. Oh, yes, final words. It's taking your power back. Because otherwise you're giving your power to something that you think that's out there that's going to come save you or that's going to come do something for you. It's you taking your power back, you stepping into your power and you following through and doing the things that you need to for yourself.
Yeah. And we're all figuring it out. So nobody's perfect at it, but we're going to do it the best we can and keep getting better. So
That's right.
with that, friends, other people are having these conversations. So be resourceful, share the content from here, share the links, whether it's us, a book you've read, or another podcast, wherever you're getting your information, share it. So you can find us on many platforms. Of course, we're here on YouTube. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spreaker, Spotify, and Podcast Addict. And so we're kind of everywhere. We're everywhere and nowhere all at the same time.
That's right. As above, so below.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We appreciate you and we wish you well. Take care.
Bye.